Good morning and welcome to today's edition of Empowerment Hour here at Calon FM. I'm Denise Oliver, I'm your host, and I'm also my own guest this week. So what have you all been up to since last time? Well, let me tell you, I can't hear what you're saying, of course, so you can hear me, so I'll let you know what I've been doing. I've been becoming more and more aware, as I'm sure you all have, of the weather changing. We have entered autumn. The leaves on the trees are changing. I have a crabapple tree just outside my window, which is full of crab apples. And for years, I haven't actually done anything with them. I've left them for the birds mainly. The pigeons love them in the autumn. But there's so many this year that I'm determined I'm going to make some crabapple jelly. I will leave some of them on the tree for the birds, and I will also make some lovely, lovely crabapple jelly for myself. And guess what, relatives, friends, what you'll be getting as part of your Christmas presents this year? Yes, some homemade crabapple jelly. Other things that I'm noticing is how much chillier it is in the evenings, and I've actually had a couple of fires in the log burner this last week or so. There's also lots of apples to be picked from the trees, not just crab apples, which I don't think I'd try and eat. I have never actually eaten one without it being made into crab apple jelly beforehand. But we've got apple trees at the end of the garden, and I just love that sense of going down the garden and picking the apples straight from the tree and making them into apple crumble. And I've discovered something about apple crumble that has made my crumble so yummy. Now, I make gluten-free crumble, so mine doesn't look like apple crumble that you might get in a restaurant. So I use gluten-free oats, I use gluten-free flour, and often some sort of seed goes in there as well to flavour it. I don't have a lot of sugar in there. I've weaned myself off sugar over the years. I add in a little bit of coconut palm sugar because it's not very sweet. But this time round, when I was using coconut oil to stick all the dry ingredients together, it's not the same as butter, because so many friends and family now are vegan, so we can't use butter. But I just heard the word butter in my head, and I thought, what else have I got that's like butter? Peanut butter. Oh my goodness. There was like a big dollop of chunky peanut butter in the bottom of a jar. It was like a big tablespoon of peanut butter in the bottom of the jar. And I just thought, ooh, I've never tried that. Worst scenario, no one likes it. Okay, we scrape the crumble off the top, we eat the apples. Best scenario, everyone loves it. And guess which one it was? Oh my goodness, everyone loved it. I made a huge, huge apple crumble, and there was hardly any of it left. And the bit that was left, oh my, it was delicious for breakfast the next day. So if you're looking to just enhance your crumble in some way, well, then you could try doing what I did. You have to like the nut butters, I guess, to do that, but you could choose a different one. There's hazelnut, almond, cashew nut. There's all sorts of different nut butters. It doesn't have to be peanut butter. And yes, it was just so yummy, yum, yum. All that said, what are we going to be talking about? What am I going to be talking about with you today on today's show? I'm going to be highlighting something that there is still a huge stigma about, and that's mental health. And today, September the 10th, put my tongue back in. Today, September the 10th, is Suicide Prevention Awareness Day. It's always on September the 10th. It's a World Health Organization initiative, and this is a topic that isn't just for September the 10th. It's highlighted on September the 10th, and it's something that we need to be discussing more. So Mental Health Awareness Day is October the 10th. And as you know, I'm an Access Consciousness certified facilitator. And in that time between September 10th today and October 10th, we have a big campaign going on about talking about mental health awareness and bringing the light into people's worlds that they're not alone. This is our campaign this year. You are not alone. There's always someone you can turn to and talk to. So we're going to take a break now, and we're going to come back and go into more detail about this. And what can we do? Where can we go? Who can we turn to? What are the statistics? What can I look up in order to have your awareness of when someone may require listening to or being listened to? So let's take a break. I'm going to keep the music bouncy because this is a serious topic, but we don't want to go into doom and gloom about it. So stay with me. I'm Denise Oliver. This is Empowerment Hour here at Calon FM. Hi there, welcome back. This is Empowerment Hour here at Calon FM. I'm Denise Oliver. I'm your host, and I'm also my own guest this week. And the topic this week is talking about World Suicide Prevention Awareness Day, September 10th, today. It's not just for today, it's for every day. It's that time that what am I trying to say here? People are attempting suicide and committing suicide every single day of the year. So although we're having an awareness campaign today, doesn't mean it's just for today. Every year, this is according to the World Health Organization website, where you can go and peruse lots and lots of information that they put up there. There is more than 800,000 people who die by suicide. That's a huge number of people worldwide, and they're never quite sure of the numbers because not every suicide is recorded as suicide. So the figures are a little bit messy, as it were. And what World Health Organization know is that there are a minimum of 25 times more attempts at suicide than actually commit suicide itself. Behind every attempt or suicide itself, there's a story of isolation. There's a story of worthlessness. There's a story of, I didn't know who to turn to. And the people who attempt and question this often don't get that there's a value to their life, that they're not worthless. Yet somehow their brain has been triggered by something, and they can keep continually telling themselves that that's exactly what they are, worthless. I want you to know right now, anyone who's listening, you are not worthless. And the campaign that Access Consciousness are running is You Are Not Alone. Now, you may have a sense that you are, but you're not. You're really not. If right now you need to talk to someone, you can contact the Samaritans. And Samaritan's telephone number is 116 123. Please, you are not alone. You can contact someone. In Australia, they have a day called Are You Okay, Mate? I guess. I shouldn't try accents, no. But it is that if you saw someone and thought that perhaps there was something not okay, would you be willing to ask them, are you okay? And you may not consider that you're equipped to help them out, but by golly, you can use your phone and you can ring 116 123 on their behalf and hand it over and offer them that lifeline. Sometimes all it takes is for you to say, hi, are you in distress? Do you need someone to listen to you? And often what's happened in today's society is that we consider we're too busy to stop and listen to someone. And are we? What if you could just change someone's world by offering your ears? I once heard someone say, when I'm listening, I listen with hearts on my ears. I'm fully there. I'm with them. And that hearts on the ears thing is that being non-judgmental, a gentle word of support and listening in a non-judgmental way, not problem solving, not having the answers, just listening. If you've never just listened, try it. Don't jump in, don't contradict, just listen. You may not like what you hear, but actually just listening to someone, especially someone who's really down, can make a world of difference. Often the people who are making an attempt on their life, it's a cry for help. And often they actually don't want to die. They just don't know what else to do. They don't know where to turn. They don't know what to say. And they have such wretched thoughts in their heads. Now, whether this person has been diagnosed with an actual psychiatric complaint is irrelevant, because there's many of us out here and out there, or in here and out there, who have anxiety, who are stressed, who experience the sense of worthlessness, and we're never created as a statistic, because we don't actually seek any help of any sort. Life is precious. It's a gift. We're here. And if you can get present with someone, you are a gift as well. If you can be with someone and listen to them, then what a gift you are. Life is precarious, don't we often feel as though we're on the edge of something and we don't quite know which way to turn? I would just like to ask you, if you ever find yourself in a situation, and people do, where you see someone who's visibly upset, would you take a minute and just go, hey, I see you're upset. You okay? And you don't have to have any answers. That's the thing. You don't have to know what to do. You can listen. People are often reluctant to intervene, to get involved, even if you're quite concerned about someone, because you feel like you're not the professional. What do you know? What can you say? And one of the biggest fears that World Health Organization bring up is that people think that if they know someone who has suicidal tendencies and thoughts, that by asking them if they're okay, actually it'll make them worse. And most people who've attempted suicide have said that it doesn't make them worse. It actually, they appreciate so much that someone will listen to them. So broaching the topic of suicide can be very difficult, and there's a myth that talking about it can put that idea into someone's head and trigger them. It can't. If it's already there, it's already there. There are lots and lots of resources available. More and more companies are training people with the mental health first aid course. And if there's something you'd like to know more about, check it out. World Health Organization have information. We often do courses in first aid so that we can cover up someone's cuts and bruises, and if they fall down, we know how to manage them until an ambulance turns up. What we don't know how to do is assist someone when they have a mental health first aid crisis. There are many resources. As I say, you can check out World Health Organization at www.WHO, World Health Organization.int. And if you want to know more, oh gosh, let me get the right way around. World Suicide Prevention Awareness Day, September 10th, then you can go and look up all sorts of resources. So World Health Organization is one of the first places to start. Samaritans is another. So that's it for this session. Hi there, welcome back. This is Empowerment Hour. I'm Denise Oliver, and it's World Suicide Prevention Awareness Day. I will get my teeth around that at some point today. I'm so sorry. So when I was looking into this, and as I knew I was doing this show on my own, I was reminded of a guy who jumped off the Golden Gate Bridge and survived. And this guy is called Kevin Hines, and Hines is spelled Hines. This is a guy who was adopted. I think his story is that he was born of parents who were drug addicts. So um, he struggled all his life with mental health issues, but they became incredibly overwhelming for him at the age of 19, 20. And a lot of this happens a lot. It becomes very florid for some reason, and no one really knows what that reason is. Now, rather than talking about this with his adoptive parents, he didn't want to burden them with his burdens. He didn't see that having talking about this was worth doing. I don't know, he just didn't want to go there. You can find Kevin and his story on YouTube. So the Golden Gate Bridge is this amazing structure in San Francisco. It, connects San Francisco to another place, which I now can't remember. And it's one of the most frequently used places in the world to die by suicide. So Kevin took himself there. Only 1% of the people who jump off that bridge survive. Kevin himself experienced extreme paranoia, mania, hallucinations, bipolar. I mean, that's a lot to deal with at 17. That's a huge amount to deal with. And there's still this stigma of talking about mental health because we can't see what's going on. If someone breaks a leg and they have a cast put on it, you can see that that bone is broken. You can't see when someone's brain is broken, but you can witness their behavior. You can see it that way. So Kevin thought that he was a burden to everyone. And this is what his brain was telling him. This is what he was tuning into. This is what he was listening to. And what he talks about in his videos, a lot of them are him on his own. There's others of him being interviewed. He's very open about it. Was that the second his hand left the rail, he wished he hadn't done it. Well, probably sooner than that, the millisecond, he had instant regret. And this is what other survivors of suicide attempts say as well. And one of the things he says is, it went through his mind, he only has, from jumping off that bridge to hitting the water is only 4 seconds. 4 seconds. One of the things he says is, no one's going to know that he didn't want to die at that moment. One of so one of the sweet things that he talks about is that as he hit the water, his body hurt. It does hurt because of the speed at which your body travels through space to hit that water. It hurts as you hit it. And as he was in the water, he realized he was still alive, and he then wanted to get to shore, but it hurt. And then he got the sense of something swimming around him, and he thought, oh no, my. And this is how his brain works. There was a shark now coming to get him. He was going to be eaten by a shark, but he wanted to live. And his franticness to get to shore, he couldn't see what was actually holding him up, because this is what happened. This thing swam under him and held him up and got him to where he needed to be, as the Coast Guard was coming out to rescue him as well. And this thing was a sea lion, and it was a guy who actually saw him jump that actually witnessed the sea lion carrying him towards the shore. What Kevin talks about is how it's okay not to be okay. What you require when you're not okay is that support network. He's now married. He has children. His wife is amazing. She has set up with him a level of trust that when she sees that something isn't connecting for him, she will say to him, Kevin, we need to go to the hospital now. Kevin, you're not okay. How's your medication going? And he now knows to trust her when she says things like that she's not just saying it because he's annoying her or anything like that, that actually he does need to seek the medical help he requires. So if you had a broken leg, you wouldn't just think about mending it yourself, you'd seek help. You would go to someone because you don't have all the information you require to sort yourself out. Kevin's an amazing guy. Go look him up. He's all over YouTube, as I say. And one of the things he says is that your thoughts don't have to become your actions. He refuses to allow his thoughts to become his actions when they are negative ones. And he recognizes when he needs help. Do you? Will you say, I need help now? Would you turn to someone? If you don't want to burden your family, friends, work colleagues with this, you can call the Samaritans. I'm not a Samaritan. I don't work with them. I just know of them. And their phone number is 116123. Hi there, welcome back. This is Empowerment Hour. I'm Denise Oliver here at Calon FM, and I am still pre-recording. I'm not back in the studio yet. All efforts are being made here at Calon FM to get us back into the studio. And actually for now, I'm quite happy to carry on with these recordings, and very, very grateful to the station manager, Amy, who is doing her best to get us back to whatever normality is going to look like once the whole COVID thing is done with. So today I'm talking about suicide prevention awareness, and it's always on September 10th. Every year is Suicide Prevention Awareness Day. This whole point of this is that people who commit suicide or attempt suicide, the ones who attempt it and survive, say that they regret it the second that they've attempted it. They actually didn't want to commit suicide. They just wanted someone to listen to them, but they didn't know who to turn to. They didn't know where to turn. There's a lot of resources out there to help, and you can look them up. World Health Organization's a great website to go to. Excuse me. And the Samaritans, I keep talking about them because that's the organization I'm aware of that you can ring for free to get advice on 116123. And there'll be many, many other organizations as well. So for this session, one of the things I want to talk about is access consciousness. And we have a campaign going called You Are Not Alone, because you're not. No matter what your brain is telling you, you're not alone. And I get that with COVID and this weird isolation things that we've been put into, that you can actually feel quite lonely and distanced from people because we've had to stay in our bubbles, because we've had to protect ourselves, and actually it can take a toll on our mental health. The You Are Not Alone campaign comes from, there are many, many, many people who have come to Access who have had sessions of Access bars that I'm always talking about, these 32 points on the head that when they're touched help to release our limiting beliefs and take a weight off our brain and help us to become calmer in many situations. It brings an ease to our bodies and our minds in a way that nothing else I've ever tried has done that for me. And so many people in Access talk about the same things. They're coming at it with different stories. And actually the bottom line is they were stressed, anxious, experienced post-traumatic stress, numerous other, panic attacks, all that sort of thing. And it was no matter what else they were doing, when they had sessions, sometimes it's one session, other times it's a series of sessions that's required. It's changed them. It's brought that ease and change their brain and their thinking patterns. And lo and behold, they look back, and for me it was a throb of anxiety that was in my body disappears. Where does it go? I have no idea. I just know I don't have that anymore. And our co-founder, Dr. Dain Heer, American, he was on the verge of committing suicide himself. So this is a guy who looks like he's got a great career. He's a chiropractor, opening up his second practice. He's due to get married. He's living the Santa Barbara life, whatever that looks like. I've never been, so I don't know. And from people on the outside looking in, wow, he's got it all. He's really got it made. He's got it going. Whatever that is for him, he's got it going on. Except inside, he was so unhappy and couldn't and wouldn't talk to anybody about it. He says he hadn't woken up happy in years, and I wonder how many of you out there are experiencing that as well. He set himself a date to end his life if things didn't change. He set that date for 6 months hence. He was deeply depressed. He tried lots of different techniques and read lots of books, and he didn't feel any better. He would temporarily, but it didn't last, and he would come crashing down. But he was like he was imploding. He wouldn't show on the outside what was happening for him. He kept seeing a little advert in a Santa Barbara local paper with "All of life comes to me with ease, joy and glory." All of life comes to me with ease, joy and glory. It's a great tool to use. 10 times in the morning, 10 times in the evening. All of life comes to me with ease, joy and glory. And it makes me smile just saying it in a way that other things never did. I couldn't use affirmations, didn't. I would stand there looking in the mirror, telling myself, I am amazing, I am gorgeous, I am beautiful. And the voice in my head would go, ha, that's what you think. No, you're not. No, you're not. Come on. Are you heck? Doing affirmations never worked for me. All of life comes to me with ease and joy and glory started to shift something in my energy in a way that an affirmation never did. And I don't get what that is. I just know this is what worked for me. And it worked for Dain. Dain went and met this wonderful woman who did access consciousness, and she ran bars. And he went and got his bars run. And for the first time in a long time, a sense of joy percolated through his body in a way he couldn't remember. And he carried on, as you can imagine, having these sessions because it made him feel so good. He went on to meet the co-founder of the founder of Access Consciousness, Gary Douglas, and between them they became co-founders of what Access is today. So the person who ran Dain's bars was Gary Douglas's stepdaughter, Shannon O'Hara. And Shannon also was very troubled as a teenager with what would have been diagnosed as paranoid schizophrenia. She heard a lot of voices. And by using the tools that Gary was gifted with, she was able to use those tools and create a business called Talk to the Entities. And basically, she wasn't mad. She wasn't crazy. She actually had a gift, a capacity to hear something beyond this reality. Now, you can call me crazy for even talking about that. And I get it. I get the energy of that. I don't hear things as such, but I know when there's a wonkiness in people's energy field. And I don't get what that is either. I just know I do that. And so I know when someone requires assistance, but I also know when someone doesn't want me to butt in. And so I often don't. But I will when it's required. When Dain got his bars run, he made the choice to live. And this is what I'm saying to each and every one of you is never give up, never give in, never quit. Make that choice to live your life, the best life you can possibly have. Whatever that looks like for you, regardless of what people are telling you, you should or shouldn't do. If you have conditions whereby you are overwhelmed with the talk that goes on in your head, please seek help. Mental health awareness is on the increase, and we have to get over any stigma that there is around it. Hi there, welcome back. This is Empowerment Hour. I'm Denise Oliver, and I'm bringing you information around suicide prevention awareness. Um, so far, let me just recap on what we've been talking about. So, I just want you to know that you are never alone. You never have to think that you have to be alone, that you have to sort everything out on your own. You don't. If you consider that you are struggling with your mental health, then please look up someone, something, somewhere. World Health Organization, they have information on there. The Samaritans, 116, 123, they may be able to help. You may be considering, because I talk about it so much, an Access Bars session. And Access Consciousness have a campaign going on called You Are Not Alone. And all around the world, people are offering free taster sessions of Access Bars to see if this is something that you could work with. Could Access Bars bring you some relief from your depression, anxiety, panic attacks, PTSD, postnatal depression, any form of anything like that? Could Access Consciousness be the thing that you're looking for? In October, I don't have the date yet, I will be hosting a free taster session in my space in Chester. And as I say, I don't know what the date is yet, but I will get back to you, and I will be putting stuff out on social media about it when I've been able to sort this out. There are going to be many, many other people who are going to be doing this. Now, you can go to the Access Consciousness website. I know it's a lot to type in, accessconsciousness.com/suicide awareness, and you can look up where people are doing these free taster sessions as well. They're available all over the world. So what else can we talk about here? So I've mentioned Kevin Hines. You can look him up on social media. He's on YouTube. There's lots about Kevin. In America, he does lots of talks. He goes talking to schools, kids, doing whatever he can to bring this to the public's attention. And there are many, many other people doing it as well. He's just one example that I'm aware of. You may be feeling socially isolated right now because we've been put in a weird situation with the COVID pandemic. You may find yourself doing a lot of comparison of other people on social media and telling yourself that you're not coming up to their standards. You may get a sense that you feel hopeless about your future. You may not get right now that there's a different possibility. I would say to you, don't choose to be anything but the best version of you possible, whatever that looks like. I know that I'm a bit weird, a bit strange, and it's partly because I've had this thing with energy. I've been able to be aware of other people's energy, but never been able to put it into words. So when I've talked about it to people who don't get it, they've wanted me to shut up and not say anything. And all that did was create an anxiety in me, because actually what I was doing was picking up on other people's anxiety as well. And that compound anxiety was just making me worse. And because I wouldn't express it, I wouldn't talk about it, I didn't have any tools to deal with it, it just started to express itself as physical illness. My body started to feel more and more worn out. Since finding Access Consciousness, Access Bars, choosing different, choosing to be more of me, choosing to embrace all of me, all of my weirdness, all of the strange stuff that goes on in my head, I am happier now than I have ever been. So what can I say to you? We have to get over the stigma of being who we truly be, and we have to talk more about it. We have to be prepared to be judged by other people, and that can be the hardest thing to take. You will find that people will turn away from you. Okay, cool. Turn towards the people who are going to be there for you. You might start out with one person, and that community then grows. Dr. Dain Heer says that one of the things that he got was that he turned to people who didn't put him down. They didn't necessarily agree with him, but they didn't judge him and they didn't put him down. He says you need to do the things that bring a lightness to you, a thing that opens you up, whatever that thing might be. Do you need to get out into nature more, to walk outside? How about just getting off your seat and just suddenly breaking into spontaneous dance? I mean, what would that be like? Would it make you laugh? Would you be aware of other people's judgments of you for doing that? Absolutely you would. Would it make you feel better? And then there's a tool that we use in Access Consciousness, and it's so interesting. And I've got loads of bits of paper here. Let's see if I can find the words that Kevin used. Oh, so when Kevin was in the hospital, Kevin Hines is the guy who jumped off the Golden Gate Bridge and survived. Other people have as well, jumped off and survived. One of the things that him and his father then discussed was how guilty they both felt. They had guilt. And Kevin had guilt for putting his dad through what he was going through, and his dad had guilt for not being there for Kevin, or so he thought. But Kevin hadn't spoken up about what was going on for him. But the guilt, Kevin said, didn't belong to either of us. And I totally get that, because we have a tool in Access Consciousness called Who Does This Belong To? And if you get that there are thoughts, feelings and emotions going on for you, and you ask that question, you go, hey, hang on a minute, is that mine? Okay, if it's not mine, who does this belong to? And if you get a sense of relief, of lightening in any way, shape or form, all you have to do, because this is an energetic contribution, is return to sender. That's it. Who does this belong to? Return to sender. Now, I'm realizing I'm coming to the end of the show, and I still haven't told you about what I want to tell you about that's going on this evening on YouTube and Facebook. So I'm going to keep you hanging on a little bit longer while we go to another tune, a happy tune. I think we need a tune to dance to. And then I'll be back with the final section of this show. Hey there, we're in the final session of today's Empowerment Hour. I'm Denise Oliver. I've been the host and the guest combined today, and talking about Suicide Prevention Awareness Day today, every year, September the 10th, bringing enlightenment really to this whole topic of mental health. And World Mental Health Awareness Day is October the 10th. So I'm an Access Consciousness certified facilitator, and for the whole of that time between today and October the 10th, Access Consciousness are running a campaign called You Are Not Alone. You're not, just know you are not alone. One of the things I've been saying for the last couple of sessions is that there is going to be, and I'm just looking for it here, there's going to be live on YouTube and Facebook via the Access Consciousness via the Access Consciousness YouTube and Facebook pages, a live interview between Dr. Dain Heer, who's co-founder with Gary Douglas of Access Consciousness, and Dain's sister, Sarah Grandinetti. Now, they're half brother and sister. And Dain was quite severely abused by Sarah's mother when he became part of their family. So I think he's about 9 years older than Sarah. And they're going to be talking about their life together and how Access has changed them and their world. So if you want to get a sense of what that's been like for them, I highly, highly recommend it. It's going to be 8 p.m. our time in the UK. Not sure what time they're doing it in America, whatever that, about 7 hours earlier for them. Yeah, we're 7 hours ahead of them. Oh gosh, I'm hopeless with time. And yeah, anyone who listens to this show knows I'm not good with time. And they're going to be talking about how access consciousness has helped them, how it's brought them closer together. And I would imagine a lot about access bars. So if anything I've said has triggered anything for you, know that Access Consciousness is hosting all sorts of events. The World Health Organization wants you to go and look at their website and get information about what you can do to help you, to help someone else. The Samaritans are always at the end of the phone. With COVID, you can't see anyone in person, but you can ring them. And the calls are, excuse me, free to their helpline, 116123. This is a big deal, people. We have to break this stigma of talking about mental health, and we have to become more compassionate for people. We have to let people know that even though we can't hear what's going on in their heads, that we can't see what's going on for them, that we can still be there with them, that we can still be an ear that will listen, that there's lots of things out there that may help them. So it may be that a session of CBT, of counselling, of finding a group that does walking meditation, of joining a dance group, perhaps belly dancing would work. I don't know what that is for you. I know that people talk about getting a dog and having to care for that dog, and that dog being non-judgmental and caring for you changes something in them. Something shifts. And often it's when the shift occurs that they can then talk about what was going on for them. So I'm going to leave that there for today. If you can find it on either YouTube or Facebook tonight, Access Consciousness, 8 p.m. UK time. Dr. Dain Heer, co-founder of Access Consciousness with his sister Sarah, talking about what life has been like before Access and now with Access Consciousness. I know my life has changed. I know I've changed as a result of it. So yeah, come on board. You're never, ever alone. I just want you to know that. Thanks, everyone. Thank you so much for listening in. Gotta go. Got a bit of a frog in my throat. And perhaps like they do in Australia on September the 10th, you could ask someone, hey, are you okay? And see what happens. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for listening to today's show. Really appreciate each and every single one of you. Take care. Bye for now. I'll be back next week. Bye.